Kings and Warriors. The Kings won 126 to 123. And this game was not a shocker to me because every game this season outside of the last matchup, because the Kings didn't play their guys, was this close of a game. And the chart that John so disrespectfully deleted actually favored the Kings in this game because the chart looked like Golden State really taking advantage of the entire game. And guess what? It just in the fourth quarter, what did the Kings do? That late third quarter, they just took the damn game over. So, John, thank you for deleting that chart because I was about to pull it up right now because that chart can do wonders. It does wonders. Now, the Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox, 38 points, tied second most player in the playoff debut. He was historic. He was spectacular. He was the best player on the floor that featured Steph Curry in this game. That's how good De'Aaron Fox is. I've been saying it all season. De'Aaron Fox is waiting for the playoffs to showcase his greatness. And although he's been in the league for a while, I think De'Aaron Fox has always been this good, and this could have been his breaking out party and showing the entire NBA world, I have been this good. But Sacramento has just been this bad as an organization, and he hasn't gotten to showcase it. Then you have Malik Monk going for 32. Fox and Monk, the backcourt of Kentucky, goes for 70. And that production was all you needed, and it was much needed because the starters didn't get much production. Sabonis was 5 for 17 after a great, phenomenal first quarter. In the first quarter, it looked like he was going to have a like 20, 16, and 10 game. But then he slowed down. Kayvon Looney and Draymond played phenomenal defense. I do think that a lot of the shots that Sabonis missed, he possibly makes in game 2 and games later on in this series. But then Kevin Huerter, 0 for 5. Keegan Murray 0 for 3 from 3. They didn't get production from their starters, at least offensively. And the bench really negated that because Malik Monk goes for 32. Trey Lyles had 16 and he was hitting threes. He was rebounding the ball well. Alex Len, somebody who just recently got minutes, but that's the really why Mike Brown is the coach of the year, because even if a player hasn't played for him all season long, it is all dependent on matchups. And seeing this Golden State series, rim protection could be an issue, and Alex Len offered them some rim protection, and offensively, he was a big body that when the Warriors went small, he punished them off these short rolls. And then Davion Mitchell, his spot minutes on Steph defensively were much needed. And if he can be better and more consistent offensively, it'll be a huge plus for Sacramento because then they could put him on Steph Curry longer in this series. But the change of the game really happened in the third quarter, that late third quarter. The Kings going that 14-2 run with Steph on the bench. The Warriors were up 10, and Steve Kerr takes Draymond and Steph Curry out, which was a huge mistake. You always got to leave at least one of those guys on the floor at all times. And Jordan Poole, they were attacking him in that third, in that fourth. They were attacking him, and that's why Monk and De'Aaron Fox were having their way. Now, this series, I think, is going to go to distance. I think every game this series is going to be the type of game that we just saw in game 1. Maybe there'll be maybe one game where, things are just not clicking for any team, but I feel good about Sacramento. I think their offense looked potent. It didn't look like the Warriors were guarding them well because they got a lot of open looks. They were just missing. And in the first half, they shot 21% from 3. I don't think that'll continue. They were getting open looks, and I think that the Warriors are going to have trouble stopping this offense all series long, and vice versa. The Warriors got a lot of open looks from Steph. He had an open look late in the game to tie the game, and he missed it. It's classic Steph. He did it against the Raptors in the finals, so it's classic Steph. But I feel good about the Kings, and with Jordan Poole questionable for game 2. Although his offense is really important for them, I think that it could be a blessing in disguise given now the Warriors can now go more defensive oriented, and they won't have somebody out on the court that you can just attack offensively like the Kings did in game 1. I think in game 2, the keys for the Warriors are just limit paint points. They have to rebound better. And for the Kings, they had to guard these split cut actions better. There was too many times where Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were wide open, and Steph capitalized on those looks, but Klay Thompson, he had a rough shooting night, and I don't think that'll continue. And they have to make a decision on basically what they want to sell out on. Do they want to go all out and really guard these Steph screens and leave rollers just open and leave shooters like Kuminga open on the floor? Or do they want to guard the shooters better? I think they'll possibly just guard Steph and live with these shots that are not from Clay. But I think this was a very, very promising game one performance from the Kings.
Hmm. I was debating just now. Should I take the bait and cook him, or should I just go on
Cook, you
with
lost
Be the
game
my
one,
bigger
buddy.
man. Be
with
the
my
bigger
reset?
man.
But I'm gonna be the bigger man because
Because
I
he's
think
25 now.
yeah,
He's
I'm
25. He has to be
old now.
mature.
He's the little bro, so I'm just
Mature.
gonna
You're
be the bigger
wise.
man. Yeah, I'm the wiser. I'm the big bro. I'm just gonna be the bigger man. The game was great. The game was amazing. Probably the best game of the weekend for me personally. It was just a lot of back and forth. The firepower was great. Malik Monk was awesome. The shit talking, the mean mugging was fire. Um, Joel mentioned though that third quarter, that was the game for the Warriors. I think personally, that was the game for the Warriors. I think they lost it in that third quarter. You mentioned it; they was up 10 or 12 points, 3 minutes left. You got to keep Steph and Dre, and I think you keep both of them in. You pretty much put the nail in the coffin, or you make it a big enough lead to where you can sit them for a stretch in the fourth quarter. I think if you play them the 3 minutes, you can possibly make that a 20-point lead. Then you can sit Steph and Dre for 3 to 4 minutes. Those pool Clay minutes was not good. They were not good. Those are two guys who, they this year they've taken bad shot after bad shot. Their shot diet hasn't been well. I don't think those two can play in the backcourt together, especially in this playoff series. But I think that was the move. Kerr, he fumbled the bag on that one. I think that was the game. That was the moment where he fumbled the bag on that one. The Kings got hot. They started to get it firing. They got in their groove. They left the third quarter, I think, up one, if I'm not mistaken. And then they go into the fourth. They already got their groove. And I know how that shit feels. When you home, you got your groove. You're hot. You can't be stopped. And the Warriors managed in the fourth quarter when Steph got it to keep it rolling, to keep maintaining. They had multiple opportunities to win this game. The Wiggins three from the corner, he was 1 for 8. I don't think he does that again. I think he's just getting his legs under him. He looked great, by the way,
First
offensively.
half, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Defensively, he looked a little slow, but I think that's because he's getting his legs under. But offensively, he looked great. He just looked a little tired out there. I think he has to get that going for him. He was amazing. No, Looney defensively, Loontown. I love him to death. My favorite center. He did his thing on Sabonis. Sabonis likes to play physical. Looney can do it too. Draymond also is great. I just think the problem is if Wiggins doesn't have his legs under him to guard players like Fox or Monks, that's going to become an issue down the stretch in his playoffs because you need a guy like that. I thought GP in his minutes against Fox, he was well. He wasn't great, but he was well in those minutes. He making him he was a little bit disruptive. He was able to maintain him, but it wasn't. Once Fox get going in the fourth quarter, it was pretty much offense for offense, and the Warriors managed to keep up. But like you said, Steph missed that shot. Andrew Wiggins missed that shot in the corner, but you had multiple times to get the win. Offensive rebounding. The Kings has 17 offensive rebounds. That's something you have to focus on. Even having 17 offensive rebounds and losing by 2 it's not bad, but you allowed too many second chance possessions. You have to limit that. The turnovers weren't that bad. The Warriors had 15, the Kings had 13. So that wasn't no crazy disparity. I just think if the Warriors walked out this game, they don't feel a sense of urgency. You didn't play bad. Both teams have a lot to come out with this win. The Kings could play a little better. I think the Warriors play a little better. I don't think either team has played to their perfection yet. I think both teams have another level that they can go up to, and I think that's going to lead to great ball. I don't think both teams play well. You mentioned it. Trey Lyles came in, gave great minutes, while Keegan Murray, who's a rookie, so I'm not going to give him too much slack. Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter, they didn't play well. Trey Lyles came in. He lit the spark. He was amazing for them. Alex Len had great minutes for them. But Jonathan Kuminga, he came in, he had great minutes. So a lot of the role players played really, really well in this game. So you love to see that. It just, for the Warriors, Clay didn't show up. Steph did show up for the fourth quarter, and that's what you like to see. For me personally, I need Steph to play 40 to 42 minutes for this. I need Kerr to be aggressive with Steph's minutes. I need him to stop. The word I want to use is stop babying him. I need him like that third quarter. Pull the trigger. Fuck your rotations. Fuck however you want to do it. Steph and Dre need to stay in the game. This is a moment you need to do. This is a series you need to win. But all in all, I think it was a great game. No shots at the Kings. They played amazing. They deserved to win. I said they were going to win this game. It was a lot of pressure on them. 16 years in the making. First playoff game in Sacramento. This was a game that I thought they was going to win from the jump. Game 2 for me is probably the most important game for the Warriors because if they're able to get that game, then I believe going into the Bay, they will become pretty much almost unbeatable. And I think they can steal those 2 games in the Bay. But I think this game too, the adjustments are going to be so important. I think they need to get this game.
They have to figure out a way how to guard De'Aaron Fox, because I think we're reaching a point with De'Aaron where he's becoming a superstar. Joel, he made this point before. My man is shooting over 50% this season from mid-range.
Yeah.
To say he's been automatic has been an understatement.
Yeah.
You coalesce that with his slippery feel, his innate touch around the rim. He is so shifty and so dynamic, bending around the edge, coming off screens. There's really no way to contain him one-on-one. And for a team that didn't start Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, or Gary Payton, none of your top three perimeter players, you realize pretty quickly, Dante DiVincenzo and Klay Thompson, they're not going to stay in front of him one-on-one. And if the Warriors want to have any chance of at least limiting him somewhat in this series to 30 points per game on not 48% shooting, it's not going to continue shooting 4 of 8 from the field, but you need to put one of those elite defenders on him because he's going to get by them one-on-one very easily. And then from there, you're bent to his will. He basically is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but a couple of inches shorter. And the other thing, Joel, that you made a great point about, Domantas Sabonis and Harrison Barnes had 9 offensive rebounds in game 1. And that's one thing the Warriors do have to hone in on, because Sabonis, he actually had a lot of his makes going right, believe it or not, where he has the avulsion fracture in his thumb. That was where most of his makes were. But he's going to get on the offensive glass. And for a Kings team that's already going to push the pace and make you run, they're going to really, I think all season long, what's made them so elite is that they really put them to the stress test in transition. It's then the fact that if you give them second chance points and you're turning over the ball as much as the Warriors have historically, that's where outside the margins, if the Kings are winning that battle, I'm going to have to reevaluate my pick of the Warriors.
He's flipping?
But no, Dehls, let me speak a little bit, because Kevon Looney has to dominate on the glass. And if Sabonis is getting those second chances, even if he was 5-17 from the field, with how well De'Aaron Fox played and how much better Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter are going to play, it's really going to be the Warriors defense just honing in on, okay, transition, can we limit you somewhat?
Does integrity mean nothing to anyone nowadays?
Listen, I think it's fair.
Nothing?
I think it's fair, like John, for one.
Yo, Joe,
De'Aaron Fox is the best finisher at the guard position in the NBA.
He's at 79.
He's at
70.
No. Fox is way better than Shai finishing around the basket. Well, yeah, statistically he is. Yeah, he is. Fox is the best finisher at the rim, and then you're right, mid range he's been shooting 50% from there. So Fox, is really no way to really contain him. It's not like Ja, where you can force Ja to mid range jump shots and you feel comfortable with him settling. It's not that same effect with Fox. And listen, I like what John said, because he wanted to see if a great regular season team could translate into the playoffs. And then this playoff game, he realized, oh no, Fox is actually legit. And this Kings offense is actually humming. Like you said, Arif, neither team played to their potential. That's why I don't buy these people saying, oh, the Kings barely won and they like everything went perfect. Everything didn't go perfect for the Kings. Their starters outside of 2 guys, Fox and I'm forgetting the other guy, Fox and Barnes, really everybody else was not that good. They were not good at all. Outside of, like, offensively speaking, because Sabonis did dominate the glass. So neither
Fox
team played
neither
team played to their potential. And I think the Kings offensively still have another gear. And I think every game this series is going to be basically an offensive showdown. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter.
I do think, John, though, I think I don't think the key is stopping Fox. Like, it's going to sound crazy, but I don't think the key is stopping Fox. So it's hard to stop the team's best guard player. I think the key is stopping those other guys that have explosions. Example, Malik Monk. If you allow a player like that to go for 30, Malik Monk's a great player. Nobody's disputing that. But if you allow Malik to outplay your other star guard in Klay Thompson, that's where the issue lies. Like Steph, he didn't have 38, but he had 30. In fourth quarter, he matched Fox. They went at it back and forth. So if you have that, okay, that's up at the margin. But when you have Malik Monk, who's outmatching Klay by a significant amount, that's where the problem lies, I think, and that's more important.
Monk has those.
You say De'Aaron is the straw that stirs the drink for their offense, where with how much attention you're going to have to double team him. That's what opens it up.
No,
especially because Domantas Sabonis, they're going to play more aggressive on him, and it's going to be tougher to get those DHO looks at Kevin Huerter. They really honed up. I think all series long, they're going to hone on those DHO looks because they know how high Kevin Huerter can get.
No, I agree. I think if you saw during the game, like Fox was getting it going, but it was a different energy when Malik was getting a bucket. You know, like it was a different type of different type of energy the fans was getting, the players get when Malik would get a bucket or he'll make a play off a pick and roll. Like he was bringing a different type of vibe. Fox is bringing that vibe because he's a star. He's been doing that all year. But when you have that other guy that brings you that type of energy, it's like it brings the like, oh shit. He can do it, so can I. Now Barnes is getting it going. Trey Lyles comes in, now he's getting it going. Like Malik, I feel like that game, he just brought that different energy to where the other players started stepping up. You saw Lyles came in and doing his thing.
You make great points. Fox did take over the fourth, though.
Yeah.
He did.
That's
and
his role.
He should have got that posterizer dunk, man. Fuck.
Bro, oh my
He was
God.
so
Once
close.
he cocked that back, bro, I thought
Yeah,
it was
Ja would have got
gonna
that.
shut the
But, you know,
roof
we
down.
ain't going.
Ja wouldn't hit the mid-range shots yet, though.
Man,
I was gonna say,
he was
that's
trying it on
what-
AD today, and AD was having none of that.
Yeah,
But
Bro said AD. We had Klay Thompson down there, bro.
you're right. But that's one of the things you mentioned, getting killed on the boards. Listen, no doubt about it. Kevon Looney's a great rebounder in his own right. Wiggins, when he's right, is an excellent rebounder in his own right. Draymond Green, no doubt. But you still you lack that size to compete with the Sabonis who absolutely killed on the glass yesterday. I think he had 16 rebounds, something crazy, trying to make up for obviously his lack of offensive output. But for me, it was really two things. The first half, Wiggins and Poole were amazing. Wiggins in his return was fantastic to start in that first half, and Jordan Poole really was getting it going, was really aggressive. Then second half, where now I believe that Jordan Poole is now on the injury report for game 2. So that might be a reason why he did not play as many minutes in the second half.
Yeah, he's questionable.
But Andrew Wiggins not having that same energy for the second half, it was very evident that maybe conditioning was at the forefront of why he was not as consistent as he was in that first half. And then, Riv, I saw you tweet about it to skip a few steps. You said that you're 10 out of 10. You're fine with that shot from Wiggins. I could not agree more. You're Andrew Wiggins. You were the second best player on a championship-winning team last season. You understand how great you need to be.
You're wide open, too.
Exactly. You take that shot. You're Andrew Wiggins. You have that green light. You take it. I'm fine with it. But you guys talked about it. It's either you sit Curry at the start of the fourth quarter, let him play the entire third, or you sit him. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
You either let him play the entire third,
play
or
half
you
the
sit
third.
or you sit him where you sat him, but start him when the fourth quarter starts.
He didn't do either. He didn't do
and
either.
You did neither. You sat him for the last 2.5 minutes of the third, and then you brought him back into the game in the fourth quarter with just around 9 minutes to go. Yeah. And of course, Curry was cooking, but then at that point, they were playing at a deficit. And then once the Kings had that lead, they really never looked back. So listen, it was a credit. It's a credit to the Kings, but I think that with a minor adjustment in Steve Kerr and his lineup adjustments in that second half, that's really what cost him the game. And again, I think that Wiggins with the conditioning, that's going to be very key to see how that translates throughout the entirety of this series. I still believe that the Warriors will win this series. I believe that in the first half, the Warriors looked like the Warriors now expected. Second half, they didn't look themselves. The Kings really looked themselves. This was a stereotypical Kings game where that late third, fourth quarter, they decide to dominate. De'Aaron Fox, we've spoken about him ad nauseum, deservedly so. Second most points in a playoff debut, only second to Luke, who had 42, unbelievable in his own right. But we're talking about De'Aaron, and then Malik Monk, who was also amazing, perfect from the free throw line. Of course, Malik was great last year, so I had a taste of that with Malik with the Lakers. But of course, it hurts to see him do it in Sacramento, especially against the Warriors. He absolutely killed yesterday, and he was crucial to the win for the Kings. But really, it's going to be interesting to see how Wiggins and Poole really could become more comfortable and how really consistent the two of them would be, because I trust Curry. And Klay, where you could say he struggled, he only had one more missed three than Curry. So in hindsight, I can understand he's a little bit more inefficient than Curry, but the two of them really weren't efficient by their own standards. So we'll see how this continues to translate. But I still do have the Warriors, and I believe that they'll be a little bit more cleaner, a little bit more tidy of these upcoming games.